I suppose the topic of this video or whatever could relate to almost anything, even though specifically here on BookTube, obviously having to do with books. It would be relevant to talk about books and stuff. Like I went pretty hard for about a year doing Malazan videos and all sorts of different types, uh, and then I kind of stopped. Not so much that I was going to stop forever, but there's a certain thing that happens that I'm much more keenly aware of now than I would have been in like my 20s, and certainly in my teens and whatnot. Certainly, if I saw people watching my channel, and I've done these stupid Dan and Aaron sorts of things that people have let me know, and they've emailed me sometime being like, hey, that would be so much fun if you did more of that. Like, it's funny and weird, and if I would have gotten those things in my 20s, I probably would have spent a ton of time producing those sorts of things for you. And maybe there will be something in the future. And, I like to, make people laugh when I can and stuff. But uh, it's something that I had to be aware of. And I think it has to do with growing up, maybe maturing a little more, even though I wouldn't call myself overly mature. But I have become keenly aware of myself that when I start to get very into something to the point where, and this is the specific kind of marker, to the point where uh, if I'm not doing that thing, I'm getting anxious about it. That's when I know I have to step back a little bit. Even when I'm getting so into it, I've edited some videos that I've gotten super into it, and sometimes if I'm reading a series and I almost can't even spend time with like my family, like my kids, because I'm just getting very into it, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate. That's the moment to maybe step back a little bit, and that's okay. That's okay. I think, like for me, that feeling of getting anxious if I'm not doing it, I've become aware that I think the anxiety is actually not. And I don't know if it wouldn't be anxiety because I'm not getting like anxiety from not doing it, but I'm anxious to. But I feel like less than it being about not being able to do that thing specifically. For me, that's more of a trigger in my mind now that I'm overdoing that thing, you know? Like in my 20s doing video games and stuff, and there'd be certain video games and things that I'd be super into, and I'd be like wanting to get every ounce of like time to do that. And it took until I was a bit older, and it's just transferred to different things. And it's not always something like video games. Like it can be all sorts of stuff. Even writing. Uh, if it's to the point where I'm getting anxious when I'm not spending my time doing that thing, that's when there's maybe something not quite balanced. And so that's when I think people watching BookTube and not being able to keep up with the same number of novels that some people are able to pump out. Like I can't read 6 novels at a regular pace a month. Like I can do it. I have had months like that, but I can't maintain that before I start to feel that thing where if I'm not doing that, it's like pulling at me. So I hope that if you need to hear that you realize that maybe the best thing to do in those moments, whatever it is might be the anxiousness of not keeping up with it. It might actually not be that. It might be something else triggering that there's maybe a little something out of balance. And so my wise, whatever wisdom I got, which isn't a lot, but whatever good advice I could give my younger self would be to be aware of that and be okay, you know, slowing down with some things. Like I'm right now I'm more reading something every couple weeks, and that's easier to keep the pace with, even then sometimes I'm pushing it like one a month. But obviously I would like to produce more stuff for you guys. But if it's going to give me that like that that feel, right? Then it won't be good for anyone, right? Uh, I am thinking of a few things. I think I would like to maybe read through these Stormlight books before the last one. I've done the first two, but I can't remember a lot of it, and so I might have to do the first two again and maybe do 100 days of Stormlight sort of thing, and maybe incorporate Dan and Aaron with my little studio beside me, which is just a green a green sheet, right? Green screen. Uh thinking about that. Thinking about that. Maybe doing more Malazan, but not sure. Anyway, I hope that whatever you're into, I hope that you're not getting that feeling like you're not doing enough. And that can be the same with like, there's so much that, especially in our 20s and 30s, we feel like we're missing out on something, even if it's not like we're not making enough money, or whatever. We're looking over and seeing people going on trips, and maybe we can't do the same sort of lifestyle and things. The more I've grown up and the more I've settled, the more I've realized how little that sort of stuff means. And I hope people can find a little relief in realizing that anxiousness of not having this or this, or reading as much of this and this, it might not exactly be that you're missing out on that stuff as much as you just, it's okay to sit back and maybe do something else for a while, or focus on something else for a while. And I think a lot of it has to do with, being grateful for, not feeling lacking, but being grateful for the little things, right? I think gratitude is a good thing, and wasn't particularly thinking I was going to go there, but anyway, talk to you guys soon, and hope you guys are well. Hope if you're in school, I hope you have an awesome first semester of school. If you're working, then jobs can sometimes suck, but they don't need to be. And I hope that I hope things are good and you're not feeling lacking, even though we all sometimes get that little feeling sometimes about wanting more time or money, or whatever it is. So, talk to you guys very soon. I'm thinking I'm gonna have a little bit more time. There's going to be another production here where I am that I might be involved with again, which might take some of my time away. But if you would like me to do any kind of series of something, I'm all ears. But I've enjoyed doing this channel to talk with some of you guys. That's been my, like, I've never really cared so much about like exploding it and like getting money or anything. Like, I don't think I would, that's just not been on my mind. But I have overdone purchasing books while I was doing that booktube thing, and that's another thing that I've started in the last about 7 months to really go digital and go to libraries and things like that. And I'm glad I have, because I really don't need, none of us really need to be spending thousands of dollars a year on books, and that's a part of the anxiousness that I think some people get. So anyway, I will talk to you guys later. Bye bye.